Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to the XL Esports YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a recap of EGL that happened over the weekend. It's already 3 days gone and it feels like it happened a couple of weeks ago. I'm joined by the very lovely Mr. Joel and Bainsy. If you just both want to say hello.
Hello.
What's up?
Sup? What's happening? These two gentlemen are obviously going to join me in recapping it. Obviously, Joel giving it kind of from a managing director point of view, and then Bainsy the cheerleading perspective. So it's going to be a really good little recap, and obviously interact with us down below and let us know what you thought of EGL as well. So the first question I just want to pose to both of you is, overall, what were your kind of impressions of EGL as a whole event?
I thought the event was fantastic, superb. I mean, it was my first experience at the spiritual home of UK eSports at the Norbreck. I've never been before.
Norbreck.
So obviously I had that to look forward to. But no, I think it was really well ran. You know, there were delays on the first morning, but despite the delays on the first day, they still stuck to their guns and went for a best of 5 throughout the tournament on both COD and Gears of War. I think that was fantastic. There were very, very few technical problems once they'd got started. Once the stream was up and once the stations were running, it was pretty much smooth. I thought they time kept very well. No, zero complaints about the event at all. Obviously, that first morning was, it dragged a little bit until the game.
Yeah. We were waiting there for a good hour and a bit to kind of get in the venue. I think it was past 11 o'clock when we actually got in.
Half 11 when we got in. Games didn't start till probably like 1. But once they got going, superb. I think Nick and his team did a really, really good job. Good casting talent, apart from Momo.
Ooh, let's hope he's not watching. Bainsy, anything to add?
No, Joel just kind of summed it up, really. But like, I had from all the lands that we've been to this year, like Amt Pro, Gfinity. Obviously, Gfinity, by all means, the best organised. But I think EGL have done a really good job. Like, it was spot on. Like, apart from it starting late on the Saturday, and there being like small teething problems in the morning, throughout the whole when it eventually got started, it was perfect. Like, I mean, everything was smooth. Even the Sunday, everyone got in at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Straight away, players were sitting down, they were starting, they were playing. It was good. It was good. The main stage was also good. I weren't there for Amateur Pro 2, the way they had set it up.
I mean, but, I can probably kind of add to this because I was there. I don't think you two were. Amateur Pro, they used the entire hall, and it was just way too big. Like, the main stage was way too big, and just generally it was so spacious. I really liked it this time because it was so you were so cozy, and it was just a better atmosphere because they only used half the hall.
It was good. It was good.
So, in terms of the layout, what did you think of it? So kind of try and give the viewer, walk them through the venue, should we say, because obviously a lot of people watching this probably didn't attend EGL. So kind of what were your overall impressions of the layout and generally how it was all set up?
So it was like your traditional LAN stations in terms of rows. They had obviously more for Call of Duty than Gears of War because there were more games, more teams, but I think they had like a sufficient amount for Gears, which meant that tournament could keep going smoothly as well all the way through.
Yeah.
And they got to play like group stages and a double elim bracket, and it was all best of 5. They then sort of really, like you said, quite close to the stations. Right in front was like all the chairs for the main stage, and then the stage itself with the one big screen. So it was like no matter where you were stood in the hall, you could see the main stage, which I thought was really good.
Yeah.
And then they did have a cool side station for Xbox 360s where they had COD 4. I think that was fun. A lot of people enjoyed having a go on that, especially Bainsy.
Oh man,
X-Pro.
Oh man,
did
that
it bring
was
back
so
the memories?
Good. The thing is, I didn't even know it was there. Like you walk in and obviously you see just like a row of stations and like Xboxes and your screens or whatever, like you normally do on a LAN. And obviously then the far end, like on the back wall, you've got the main stage. It looks sick, like with the big screen and everything. So like everyone's so engrossed on there, and then like there's this like side station like that's completely irrelevant from the whole
Yeah.
sort of floor, and like I only realised as when I walked over there because Kieran was there, and I was like, what the hell? What's he playing? And why is there 360s there? I walked over and I saw like the MP5 and the M16, and I was like, oh my god, I think
Was
I'm
it like
I
a
think I'm
dream
gonna stay
come
here for the
true?
whole event. Like I saw it and I was like, oh, this just brings back too many memories. I can't. I'm gonna start welling up. Like it was that. It was that sort of. It was good. Like it was really nostalgic, but it was good.
Tell you one thing I would have liked more of would have been like companies, like relevant. So something Amtipro
Yeah,
always
that's
used to do is get some like exhibition stands and things, and there wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I know like everyone got like free rock stars on the Sunday morning, which was a really cool thing from their sponsors. Obviously, the admins were easily accessible, but just in terms of, I mean, obviously we're all there to watch the games, but from a business point of view,
Yeah.
events are where we do our
If
network.
they had like some of the sponsors, like Rockstar were giving out drinks, but say like Scuff or the monitor company or whatever, actually there with a stall like to like advertise their product, it would have been kind of a lot better, because that's what Amtipro I think really did well. The second one they had at the back they had a good couple of things. I think they even had a G2 Amiga racing chair with like an actual, it was actually set up with a game. It was pretty sick as well to kind of give you a perspective, not only trying out the chair but playing a game, and it was all on like hydraulics and everything, and it was a racing game.
Oh yeah, one of those like proper racing simulator things. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like even I was expecting something. I was expecting Astro to be there because I had money ready to go buy the TRs, and then I think I'm not sure if it was Joel. I think it was Shawnee. I was speaking to, and I was like, oh, I hope Astro are there because I've got money to buy some TRs. And then I walked in and like, no one was there. Like there was no.
Yeah.
I think there was one rep from Rockstar, and that was it. Like I didn't know.
It was
who
very
else
weird
really...
though, wasn't it? Because they had obviously a lot of sponsors for the event, but they just
Yeah,
seemed
massive,
non-existent.
Yeah, and they had all like the posters up and everything. You'd think like they'll be like, I mean, Hoppage, there was Scuff, there was Astro, there was loads of sponsors like that with EGL. It's just a bit weird they weren't actually there, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's kind of move on to what everyone probably wants to hear about, how XL obviously got on at the weekend. Let's start off by kind of talking about Gears. I wish Kieran was here because he seems like an expert after casting the finals. But generally, Bainsy, let's go with you first. Overall impressions of the Gears of War team this weekend.
To be honest, it was I was kind of sort of, I wouldn't say following them, but I was kind of sort of I knew about their results at online and things like that, and I was like, you know what, it doesn't matter. Maybe I knew they weren't really getting that much practice, but obviously this was the first time I was meeting the whole Gears team. They're so professional, absolutely professional. Like it's a bit weird because I was expecting like the younger age, but they're all sort of like almost like my age, like
Yeah, they're all
a little bit younger. Yeah, exactly. All at uni or like or last year uni or whatever. But they're really professional. Like they were so good. They were dead on. Like all of them were just really funny. They knew what they were talking about. And then in game, it was just obviously, as you all esports players, they just sort of switch off and they sort of get in that zone sort of thing. And it was really good to watch. Like just sort of them just communicating. And Gears is something I've got no clue about. I literally
Likewise.
And I was watching it and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but these guys look genuinely decent. I mean, they're taking maps off some top teams as well. So it was good. It was really nice to see them. And their sort of persona and their attitude was top notch, 100%.
Yeah. Joel, what kind of made you want to pick up this team? Because I think, if I'm right in thinking, it was them that approached you, if I'm not mistaken. So what kind of made you go with these boys? What kind of impressed you? Obviously, Bainsy talks about the professionalism of them. Was that kind of something that drew you to wanting to pick them up and let them represent XL at this event?
So obviously, we were approached by one of the players, Nick, or XL Entity. He's someone we knew from many years ago. We used to play COD with him. He went on to play COD to kind of a competitive standard, not like the level of our COD team now, but like he played competitive COD. He was pretty decent. And then he moved into Gears of War. We kind of fell out of touch, but always had each other on Skype. And he approached us, said, "Look, we're going EGL. We've got a Gears team. Here's our previous LAN experience. We're not that practiced, but the guys were really mature. Would you like to meet them? So got into calls, got into WhatsApp groups and stuff, and they turned out to be, like Bainsy said, just model pros. You know, if just perfect attitudes that you would want from esports players, and
dead on, absolutely dead on.
That's why, to be honest, you know, we had zero expectations and pressure on them in terms of performance at the event. We wanted them to just, you know, go and enjoy it. Kieran and I love Gears of War. We always have. It's such a fun game to watch. I'm really glad it's making a comeback, because there's quite a few esports titles out there at the minute, but in terms of ones I actually properly enjoy watching, it's definitely up there. And you know, AMS Pro have just announced they're going to go with Gears as well.
I was going to touch on that, actually.
Yeah. So no, that's it. I mean, great pros. They approached us. We wanted a Gears team. We love the game. Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting because we're hopefully going to have a team for AM2 Pro. We'll obviously have to see if the boys are available and whatnot. But overall, I think they ended up sadly coming, I think, I don't want to say, but it was last, I think, overall. Because I think they lost, winners round 1, then losers round 1, if I'm not mistaken, of the championship bracket. But as we talked about, we all know that they have other commitments with university. It's very hard to get on and practice, so it's kind of understandable. And I think they hadn't been teaming for that long either. So obviously going forwards, they're going to make strides to make hopefully improvements overall. Let's switch over to talk about the Call of Duty side. Coming into this event, what was kind of the realistic goal? What kind of placement or overall performance of this caliber team did you expect out of it, Joel?
Okay, so what I said before the event, what I said to the players is, you know, all the pressure was they put on themselves. We didn't put pressure on them. We didn't say we expect this placement, etc., etc. We didn't want to do worse than we had at previous events, and we'd kind of got a top 5 and a top 4. So that was like, in my mind, that was like, you know, bare minimum. We knew we wanted to place in the money, because the last 2 events we've been 1 game away each time. So this time,
even 1 map, wasn't it?
1 map, yeah. So we for them really, like, we wanted them to achieve that goal. But you know, everyone knew we had a chance to win it. The guys wanted nothing else but to win it. They said that to us the whole time, and we were like, look, we're going to take it 1 map at a time, 1 game at a time. We're going to go as hard as we can and see where we place. They wanted to win. You know, we finished 4th. We did get in the money. Ultimately, there was disappointment, because we knew there was the potential there to go all the way. Wasn't meant to be this time, but you know, they should be proud of themselves. They put in some superb performances. You know, the comeback against E4, playing a, you know, Rift team that were playing really well, and you know, making it look like a non-contest on some of the maps, not all of them, but yeah, they were fantastic. And again, like with the Gears team, model professionals, you know, considering the ages of some of the guys as well, really,
exactly. I mean, Shawnee's 16.
He's younger, so.
Another thing that I want to touch on with that is just, I drove up with Zed all the way from like London up to Blackpool, and it was a good sort of 4 or 5 hours I had with him. And the guy was just insanely motivated to win. I mean, like I kept saying to him, he's like, look, take it map at a time, round at a time, team at a time. You'll get there. And he was like, no, Bainsy, we're winning. I don't care. like I'm not accepting anything but what first. We're winning. And I mean, again, like Joel said, they put the pressure on themselves, but I mean, they played very well. Honestly, they played absolutely well. They had the right attitude. They had, you know, everything about them was just superb. Unfortunately, as everyone knows, we got knocked out by Exertus, and even after that, they were just extremely disappointed. And that's where obviously Joel, Kieran, and I both had to sort of put an arm around them and go, look, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. We're in the money.
They did extremely well considering the kind of situation they were putting in the losers bracket, especially. It was a very, very good run.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Obviously, Exertus put them there as well. So, when we beat Rift on main stage, sorry, Shay, but when we beat Rift on main stage, I spoke to the guys and I was like, look, we're going to play Exertus. And they just looked at me and went, right, this is our time. Like, we have to win this sort of thing. And it was that attitude, which I loved about that squad. It was brilliant, and it was really good to see.
Yeah, mentally they were completely in the right place the whole weekend. You know, there was no doubt. Like, for me, the reason we lost had nothing to do with the way they approached it at all. Yeah. Like, including practice running up to the event, attitudes running up to the event, attitudes at the event, performances at the event. The reason we lost is just because that Exertus team knows how to beat them. They're the perfect counter in the way that they play to the way that our guys play. You know, and that's shown at AMS Pro 2 and now again at this tournament. But yeah, absolutely commend every single one of them for the way they approached it. And yeah, I mean, overall we were happy. We had a fantastic weekend, met loads of great people, had some fantastic games to watch, some heart-wrenching moments.
Just touching on that, can I just ask both of you, what was going through your mind? Again, for you guys that are watching, basically off stream, I think it was just before the losers quarters or something or other around there. We played E4, and basically went down 0-2, and really we shouldn't have been 0-2 down, but we were regardless. We were able to come all the way back with problems with Zach or Zed even. His controller or Xbox wasn't working, all sorts of problems, but eventually we brought it back to a game 5. Went all the way to round 11. I know, Joel, you walked away at that point. So what was going through both of your minds? Because I know I was kind of shaking a bit, I'm going to admit. It was a very tense situation, and it was literally make or break, because obviously that round 11 basically decided the fate of one of the other teams.
So I'm not ashamed to say that I couldn't watch the round 11.
I don't blame you. As soon as they won, you came straight, like, raging in like a ram and, like, knocked me out the way. I was like, okay.
I had to hug him. No, that was that. I mean, I've had some good times in kind of the first year of running an esports organisation, but that is up there as number one by far. It's just, I never knew I cared that much, if I'm honest. Like, I've always cared. I've always been passionate. Always been.
You never thought it kind of get to the point where, like, you just literally physically could not watch.
Physically felt sick. I was essentially on my knees. Like, I'm not a religious guy, but I was praying. Like, I was praying on whatever God I could find.
Yeah.
And poor old Trey Zero. He was the guy who I could see. He was in front of me, and I wasn't sure because there was so many people between.
Oh, the players. There was like half the venue there watching.
Yeah, so it was insane.
I kind of wasn't sure, and Trey just looked round at me and went, "You won." And my first instinct was, like, is he winding me up? And then I saw everyone else, like, celebrating, and I think I jumped on his back and bear hugged him. I'm not entirely sure. He's a fairly big guy, and I'm not that tall, so I think I ended up on his shoulders basically, and then had to get to the players.
You pushed through everyone. Literally, you just. Yeah.
Sorry if I hit anyone at that moment in time. Best moment of my esports life.
Would we say that's easily the best moment of EGL 14 for both of you? Or is there something else that's going to tip it?
Was it the only O2 comeback? I don't know. Let us know.
Actually, yeah, you.
I mean, in all the Call of Duty I've watched over the last, like, 3 or 4 years, I think that's literally the best O2 comeback I've ever seen. Like, just serious. I know obviously it's different being at LAN and the atmosphere, but that was seriously amazing with all the problems, going up like 60 points in the first hard point, then Zed's Xbox freezing and we not knowing what's going to happen. And then to win it just on the pure fact that they did not plant the bomb in round 11 was just absolutely mind-boggling. But let's move on a little bit. So obviously, if you don't know, XL's COD team ended up finishing fourth. They did place in the money. Obviously, as Joel said, getting beat by Exertus in the, I think, losers semi, if I'm not mistaken, with Infuse coming first and Barrage coming second. Let's move on a little bit. Just before we move on to some roster changes with the Call of Duty team. Overall, across Advanced Warfare, how does EGL 14 stack up as an event? Is it up there as the best, or whereabouts was it for you guys?
Do you mean with XL in attendance, or just the UK LAN
well,
in general. See, there's
LANs that you've attended with XL, without XL, whatever. Like, how has it stacked up for you to kind of see out Advanced Warfare?
I really enjoyed Amps Pro 1, just because it was my first event with a team. It was XL's first event as an organisation. But yeah, hands down, this event was the best. Like, I had some of the best experiences. Had great people around us. Like, I've enjoyed a lot of LANs, but yeah, I mean, it is my favourite, 100%.
Okay, Bainsy?
I think I'll have to agree. The only thing I have a problem with is I wanted more teams to be there. What I mean by that is V weren't there, so Tommy and co, they weren't there. You had other teams like, I wanted like a full Millennium squad there as well, although Millennium Hope were there. Yes. I wanted sort of like
there was obviously that barrage pickup team, but
I guess that was kind of the sort of logistics of it. But V weren't there. I would have liked, as much as it probably wouldn't have happened, but I would have liked like Jerd, Moose, and co, like that TCM squad that originally moved out to America. That would have been good for them to like start Advanced Warfare in the EU, and then obviously them moving out there was a huge thing for the EU. So that would have been good. But I mean, yeah, there's a few other teams, but I think EGL was the best.
Was it a good way to end Advanced Warfare?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Well,
100%.
we'll move on because we don't take up too much of your time. We're just going to quickly talk about the roster changes that have happened. So I'm going to throw it over to Joel to kind of lead this part of the video, I guess. Obviously, with the 18 plus kind of looming with Black Ops 3, it was only inevitable that roster changes were going to happen with the XL roster, with obviously half the team being 18 and half the team not being 18. So, Joel, do care to explain?
Okay, so, I mean, going into the event, we just utterly refused to talk about it purely because we didn't want to distract the players at all. They needed to be a cohesive unit. They could not think about the future. We needed to think about this event. So as a staff team, we even didn't talk about it because it wouldn't be fair to talk about it and then tell the COD guys that we weren't. So we just didn't talk about it. Then, obviously, things had to happen fast. We made the decision that it was for the best to concentrate on 18 plus, put our eggs in that basket for Black Ops 3, obvious reasons, the World League, basically. So that unfortunately instantly meant we had to lose Jamie and Shawnee. And like I said in the messages I wrote earlier on in the week, thank you to them. They were superb. Love them to bits, and absolutely I'm going to support them wherever they land. So then we were left with Zach and Liam, Zed and Carbines. They both wanted to stay under XL, but both didn't mind teaming together, wanted to team together. There was no issues there. The only issue we had was, obviously then you've got to find just 2 players to go in with them, and 2 players of the right caliber, the right attitudes, etc. In the end, there was an opportunity there to work with the guys that we've got, sort of Desire, Vortex and Bance from the X-Exertus lineup. That opportunity came up. Obviously, in order to get them, they wanted to team just with Zach. It's a better fit composition-wise. We spoke to Liam about it and we said, look, this is the situation. Everything was always out in the open.
Yeah.
Liam was fine. He's got other ideas in his mind about who he might want to go and team with anyway. So I know he's going to be absolutely fine. He's a top player, top attitude, and he deserves every much as anyone else to be in this World League. So again, Thank you to him for his time. But ultimately, we've landed in a really strong position. I'm dead chuffed with the roster that we've got. They're a really great bunch of lads. I got to know them quite well over the weekend. Clearly talented,
most definitely.
Everyone knows that. And then adding Zed, who was, I'm not saying he was MVP of the weekend, but he was certainly a contender. He put in some fantastic.
Just every series he seemed to be going off, one way or another. He was just I was glued to his screen. Him and Carbines in general, I think, for me personally, were just the outstanding players. Not taking anything away from Insight and Shawnee, but yeah, I just couldn't take my eyes off his screen, and yeah, just absolutely amazing, phenomenal player.
You know, 53 kills was definitely a record. I think Carbines must have held a couple of records. He dropped 46 in an uplink, and that was against Zerta, so you know, it wasn't exactly a loser's bracket round one or anything.
Got the first pick on that 5-5 against E4 as well.
Yeah, and then that 13 kill streak he got.
Yeah, I hope I can find the EGL VOD if it is up somewhere, because I'm definitely ripping that. With obviously Shawnee, Insight, and Carbines leaving us, Bainsy, what are you going to miss most about them 3 players?
I don't think I miss them at all. The only reason why... No, that's not a rip. That's not a rip. That's not a rip.
Do you not like them?
The only reason why I wouldn't miss them is because I talk to them. I mean, I talk to Shawnee. Spoke to Shawnee every single day. I've teamed with the guy, so it's like I don't think at the moment my sort of gut is like they haven't left, because I'm always talking to them, and it's the same with Carbines. It's the same with Jamie as well, Insight, and it's sort of like I tweeted this out the other day, and I was like, look, I don't care if they've left us. In my mind, they're still part of XL. And no matter what organisation they join and what team they join, that next event, I'm going to be supporting them as much as I'm going to be supporting our boys, whoever they are. Now, if they team up against each other, then that I don't think I'm going to watch, because honestly, I feel so strongly for obviously our team that we've got at the moment, and Shawnee and Carbines and Jamie as well. So it's like, I mean, I hope they do well. They deserve it. The amount they've played this year, they've really made a reputation for themselves.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd like to just credit Carbines as well. I mean, when we told him that, look, this is a situation with Zed, we want to bring on these 3 players, Carbines was like, you know what? Do it.
Very professional.
Perfect.
Very professional.
He was so... He didn't make a scene. He didn't... Yeah, exactly. And he didn't make a scene. He could have said something, oh, I'm being snaked. He understood, and like to get that level of professionalism is unbelievable in a player, and that's what I think we'll miss most about these players. Their professionalism is great on Twitter, in game, just everything. It's really good. I think I'll miss that the most. But in terms of like speaking to them stuff, I'll speak to them all the time. I think I'm playing FIFA after this call anyway. So
I think it's a testament to kind of what the experience is like representing XL at LAN, and the relationships we formed. Like, it hurt me. I genuinely was very upset, as was Charlotte, like when we had to tell Shawnee and Jamie, you know,
it's like a family. It's like telling a brother, sorry, we've got to get rid of you.
You're adopted.
Yeah. No, I mean, we like that family feel. It's important to us. Obviously, we're a business, we're professional, we want to win. Those are like the 3 key things, but beyond, there's so much room around that to be more than just
people don't realise. Yeah. Okay, so just to round out the video, what is next for Gears of War and Call of Duty going forward?
So, Gears of War, we're going through a bit of a transition because a couple of the guys are essentially retiring to focus on their university studies, which is, you know, completely commendable. So, don't know what the roster's going to be now yet, but I want to be at Amateur Pro with both Gears and Call of Duty. Obviously, Black Ops 3 is imminent for Call of Duty, so for those guys, it's going to be a case of put as much time into that game as you can for Amateur Pro.
Only got about 3 weeks. So
exactly, yeah. So
big grind.
Get to Amateur Pro and do as well as we possibly can. Aim to win. I mean, there is no other aim for us anymore, especially in Call of Duty. Our aim is to win events. So we want to do that, put ourselves in a really strong position. Yeah, I think we're already in a really strong position for ESL to speak to us about the league. I mean, they haven't announced how that's going to work, whether it's invites, qualifications, we don't know.
Yeah.
But we need to be in the strongest position possible for that, because ultimately that's what we're in Call of Duty to do.
Yeah, and what's going on in terms of League and FIFA at the moment? Obviously, our other divisions within XL.
So FIFA, we've still got Anton and Graham. We've had them since January. They are waiting. they're waiting on the Gfinity schedule to be announced for the Gfinity Masters and the qualification to start for that. League of Legends have got a few games left of the ESL UK Premiership, and obviously I-Series coming up in December that we should be going to. That's it. We're always looking, Counter-Strike, Halo, Smite, but it always has to be right, and it has to be the right people as well as the right level of talent. So we'll keep looking, but I won't say never. But right now, happy with where we are.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you everyone for watching. If I can just ask both of you guys to just say your goodbyes, shout out anything you want to say, really, any sponsors or whatever, and then we're going to finish out the video. So we go Bainsy first, followed by you, Joel.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you liked, you know what to do. Comments, anything, any questions actually. That's a new thing I want to sort of do. Any questions that you got about Excel going forward? I mean, hopefully most of the questions would have been answered in this sort of video, but any other questions that you got, chuck them in the comments. We'll reply to them.
Yeah, most definitely. We'll be checking them. And Joel?
I would just like to say thank you to some of our sponsors. I mean, obviously all of our sponsors help us in their own way, but in particular Gamer Saloon, Scuff Gaming and Zip Buddy, they've been sort of really influential and really good to work with behind the scenes, really helpful for Excel. There we go.
He's ripping it out. He's plugging.
Obviously helps out with things like that at the event, and then Gamer Saloon and Scuff Gaming do a lot with us behind the scenes. So really happy to be working with those guys, and thank you to them.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I mean, you can use the code XL at the checkout on all these sponsors and get a bit of money off. So why would you not? But yeah, we're going to pretty much end out this video. Thank you to Joel and I was going to say Kieran then. I should say Bainsy. For sparing a bit of time to chat with me about their experience over the weekend at EGL. Don't forget to please like this video. It really helps us out and knows that you're liking our content. Also, as Bainsy says, if you've got any questions that we haven't answered, please stick them down below and we'll make a video about it, or we'll get back to you some way about it. We're not going to just completely ignore you because we're not like that. And also, if you want to subscribe, feel free to. There's loads of awesome content on the way from EGL. But my name's been Tommy. That has been Joel. And not Kieran, Bainsy. Going to get it right. We'll see you next time for another video. And as always, have a good day. Peace.